Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Vihari. Krishna Balava, Jayo Giri Varadhari, Jayo Giri Varadhari. Gopijana Balava, Jayo Giri Varadhari, Jayo Giri Varadhari. Yashodanandana, Jayo Braja Janaranjana, Jayo Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jayo Yamuna Tiravanachari, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jayo Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jayo Radha Madhava, Jayo Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Vishnupat Paramahansa Kalila Acharya Sata Aisi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupat Paramahansa Kalila Acharya Sata Shishma. Thank you for allowing me to do some service, and I hope I can. I asked for your blessings, so whatever I say, it will be based on Shastra, that's the idea, and it will be beneficial for you and for myself. So do you usually on Sunday feast you read the Bhagavad Gita? So okay, well, we'll start with the verse from chapter 2, text 41. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yavasayatmik buddhir Ekkeha Kurunandana Bahushakahyanantascha Buddhayo Vyavasainam. So Vyavasaya Atmika, resolute in Krishna consciousness. Buddhi means intelligence. Eka, only one. Iha, in this world. Kurunandana, O beloved child of the Kurus. Bahu Shaka having various branches. Indeed, Ananta, unlimited, Cha also, Buddhaya, intelligence, Avyava Sainam, of those who are not in Krishna consciousness. So translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched. So I will read only one section of the purport, not because it's not important, the rest, just to, because the point I want to make in this class, that will be the relevant part for the specific point. And then if there is time, I will read something from 7th Canto also. So the resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Vasudeva Sarvam Itisa Mahatma Sudurlava. A person in Krishna consciousnness is the rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. As by watering the root of a tree, one automatically distributes water to the leaves and branches, so by acting in Krishna consciousness, one can render the highest service to everyone, namely self, family, society, country, humanity, etc. If Krishna is satisfied by one's actions, then everyone will be satisfied. So if every paragraph in this Bhagavad Gita, in every purport is loaded with meaning, and as every verse we can expand more and more, the same with each paragraph. And this paragraph in particular captures the essence of Krishna consciousness in action. So how we can become Krishna conscious while performing all kind of activities, and the key or the formula for making all the activities Krishna consciousness is given here by the example of watering the root of the tree. So how the intention in doing the activities is to please Krishna, regardless of the type of activities. So to illustrate some of these points, we go back to one of the findings in psychology is that people have many goals in their lives, but as they age, as they become older, these goals, the goal preferences change over life. So why people may change their goals? And there is a dramatical change in goals after 50. When people turn 50, and there is one concept which is called future time perspective, which refers to the remaining time in life, the subjective perception of the remaining time in life a person has. So when we are young, it seems that we have many decades ahead. So we can project ourselves, and we can see ourselves with a career, and then having a family, children. There are many years to see it. But as we grow older, that perception of time remaining shrinks. So now we may not have like a 50 years ahead or 70 years ahead. So you start having 20, 30, or maybe 10. It depends. And that can cause terror. It's called terror of death. Maharaj Yudhishthira as many of you may know, in Mahabharata, when he was asked what is the most amazing thing in the world, he immediately replied, Ahani Ahani Bhutani Yam Gachantiha Yamalayam. That so although we're witnessing many living entities, from insects to animals to human beings, are going to the mouth of death. So if you read any newspaper, every day there are some famous people who die, and then there is a specific section of the newspaper just for common people announcing their death. But Yudhishthira Maharaj, he was surprised that although it's such a common event, such a normal thing that we see from childhood, still we make plans in life as if life will be stavarana, which means permanent. So there is that somehow we have that confidence, which is good, that we still will be alive. So that allows us to make plans for the future. Some scientists, they say that fear of death is a evolutionary trait. I know I don't agree with that. I'm not promoting those ideas, but I want to illustrate the point. An evolutionary trait in the sense that it protects us from dying soon, because if you have fear of death, then you will protect yourself, especially in ancient civilization in which we were living in the forest. So you need to be constantly reminded that you can die at any time, even when you are sleeping. You have to be completely attentive, because some tiger can come and eat you. So there are many factors that will be there. But as our modern civilization grow and gave us this sense of security, like you can be in a house and you are safe, you have the alarm, you have cameras, you can be even in your bed and you can check who is outside. Somebody's coming, you know that you can call police anytime, 9/11. So there is some sense of security, some concept that you can tomorrow is not your day for dying, because there is security. So then you can plan ahead. So, but if you have that fear of death, then how you can plan? If you are conscious that you can die at any time. Somebody can enter in your house and stab you, or like after an act of terrorism, many people are scared. I remember I was distributing books in New York, 2001, in the month of October. You remember what happened in September 11? So we used to take boxes of books every day, and then we had to get someone to keep our boxes so we can go and distribute books in the streets. So we usually used to take the box and ask any store or market store and ask them if we can leave the box there. But because of the terrorism act, everybody was scared of boxes. So we'll be in the box and take that out of here. We don't want this. But please, these are only books, I can show you. And they will say, no. So then we will leave it in the street. But then the police will come. And see, so everybody was terrified that time. So how can you live with that fear? It's very difficult. Therefore, a philosopher said that we actually engage in activities to distract ourselves of the reality that we may die at any time. So it's called the denial of death. And it seems to be the main spring of human activity. That when we are young, we make goals unconsciously to distract ourselves of the fact that we may die, but we just say, okay, I have many days ahead. And when we are older, then we start changing the goals, because if our goals are related to, for instance, if you are 70 years old and you want to get a PhD, I mean, that's, we can say, go forward, but the goal may remind you that you don't have much time, because then you start thinking, but 10 years maybe will take me just to get a PhD, and then I have to do more work and internship, so by the time I can work, then probably I will be dead. So it doesn't seem to be like the best goal, and also give you this fear, you know, like, oh, it's an anxiety, just the fact of thinking about all the things you have to go through and the less time that you have, that can give you anxiety. So therefore, through different surveys and research, psychologists found out that as people age, they prefer other type of goals. They start rejecting goals that are related to seeking knowledge or to open your horizons. And instead, they prefer more emotionally meaningful goals. So for instance, they ask them, what do you prefer, to spend time with the author of a book, with Prabhupada, or with some member of your family? So they will choose a member of my family, and it makes sense, you know, because you start giving priorities to what is more important to you. So the way we cope is by choosing goals that are related to our values. And another way that they will do this is by putting pictures of an airplane and one word, like connect, and the other send the picture of an airplane and they will put the word discover. So then you have to choose between the two. And those who were young, they choose which one? Discover. And those who were older, they choose connect, because they want to connect with the loving dear ones. So, but what happened with this same thing will replicate in persons who are pursuing a life, this change called preferences. So according to them, people when get older, they are no more interested in knowledge, and because it reminds them about death. But what happened with the sadhus or any spiritual practitioner, how they will process this? So for instance, so you can give me an example of someone in the scriptures in Srimad Bhagavatam, you know, who found out that their future time perspective was becoming less and less. Parikshit Maharaj, he realized that he had only 7 days. So, and how he reacted? Did he try to, like, his goal preference somehow changed, because at this point he wasn't more interested in the kingdom anymore, because he realized I have 7 days, so I have to prioritize. So one way of being more successful is to be selective in the goals that you have, especially when you don't have much time. So Maharaj Parikshit, he was, okay, I cannot do many things, I'm not going to learn guitar now, or I mean, of course he would never say that, but there is not much time for any other goals, so let me choose one that I can fulfill. So he decided to meet with the sadhus, with people who were learned spiritual life, and he spent his time seeking knowledge about Krishna. More, he was very curious. You can read Bhagavatam, and he's full of questions. And And that way he overcome the fear of death. There is a verse in the first canto. It is at the end of chapter 19, text 15. I want to see if I can put it here. Yes, so Maharaj Parikshit, he told the Brahmana his realization after finding out his future time perspective was only 7 days. And then he said, just accept me as a completely surrendered soul and let Mother Ganges' perspective of time remaining in life changes when you read Srimad Bhagavatam. One of the effects of the scriptures is to give you a sense of urgency in a joyful way. No, it's not like you have to become like sad or I don't have much time. No? Because then we will have denial of Bhagavatam instead of denial of death. No? We don't want to read Bhagavatam because it will remind us that we may not have much time. But that idea of that you have only 7 days is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, not just for Maharaj Parikshit, because that's the statistic. It can be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It won't be any other day. It can be one of these 7 days. And so Srimad Bhagavatam is giving the tools for be ready. In the same way that in any intelligent person in this society take precautions for any accident that may happen. You get insurance and things, which is what you're supposed to do, if you want to have a peaceful life and also protect your family. You have even life insurance. This is one of the great business now that is dealing connected with the denial of death. And so Srimad Bhagavatam also gives us way of being also prepared. It's like an insurance by giving the process of sadhana bhakti, or a process that you can be every day ready. If something happens, you are doing your spiritual duties. And Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, also in the 7th canto, he give a future time perspective very dramatic. It's in chapter 6. He's instructing his friends. So he's only a 5-year-old, 7-year-old, but he has a different way of seeing time than all the ordinary people. So he's sharing with his friends that he's telling them that when you're a child, you spend your time just confused, playing around. If you remember when you were a child, can you remember when you were 2-year-old? Do you remember anything? It's like you didn't even live that. It's like it's not part of your life. At least you see pictures or something. And then when you're 4, 5, 6, 7, especially if you are not in a family of devotees, you don't have much opportunity to inquire about spiritual life, and everyone treats you as a fool, like the way we treat children sometimes. We make them play things that they may even not be interested, but we assume that they like to play, and they are not serious about spiritual life. And then after that, what comes? Kaishora, which is the teenagers. And then, especially in Western society, like you're supposed to have a girlfriend, and then the girlfriend a boyfriend. And then you finish your studies and go to university, etc. So Prahlad Maharaj is giving some perspective on the time, how you use your time. So Prabhupada also explained that you lose at least 20 years of your life sleeping, and it can be more. If you sleep 12 hours a day, it's 50 years of your life. Imagine. So, and there are people who sleep 12 hours. So it's not uncommon. And so if you can reduce some, but you cannot sleep 2 hours a day, 3 hours. So for sure we are losing many years already. So it's not that we live 70 years or 60 years. So you have to take at least 20 years from what you live. And then there are times that we spend in idle activities that are not productive, for nothing, not even for making money, for nothing. It's just time that you spend like sometimes it's like our brain doesn't work or something. And or doing things that are not, like maybe watching TV just because you may be stressed out and trying to spend the time, but they are not related to your goals. So let's say 10 years you can be like that, and so the goal like 30 years, and you can go in the same way if you put education and other type of activities that you do, like even just taking a shower, just taking care of yourself, your body, cleaning, brushing your teeth. That's a lot of time, and it's also years that we spend on that. So basically, if you have time, then when you are healthy, it's also not much time, because there is like also like another promedio of 20 years that you spend in pain. Like maybe your capacities are not, like if you take from the first year of life in which you cannot distinguish things, and you add the days in which you are maybe 70, 80, if you don't have a good health, also those years may not be very productive. So in between, how many years do you think you have? 7 years. Maybe 7 years in full. 7, 10 if we are lucky. And so therefore the Srimad Bhagavatam trying to give some kind of aid, care, because there is not much time. Like if you really think from the perspective of Prahlad Maharaj, there is not much time. So Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita are conveying the idea that now is the time, no? Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the time to inquire about absolute truth. But how do you do that if you have so many other things to do? So is Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, well, especially Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavatam we can argue that, but Bhagavad Gita doesn't say you have to give up any activity. Bhagavad Gita is trying to give a very practical way of dealing with this lack of time that we have, but at the same time we need to do things because we are here to do that. So we have desires, and we cannot neglect those desires. And also if they're natural as a humans. And Arjuna, he is in a situation in which his time also is being hampered, because he's about to fight a war, and he doesn't know if he will be alive, and also he doesn't know, or he's for sure, he knows that many of the people he loves will die during the battlefield. So all his ideas, conceptions are being shaken at that moment, because he is now he has to prioritize what is important in life, what really means to live. And he realized that he said, Kimno Rajena Govinda, a kingdom is not what I'm interested. Maybe before the war, but not now. So even if I get to enjoy the heavenly planets, it won't give me any happiness. So he started realizing that when you are closer to death, everything becomes superficial. Everything else, it's like it doesn't have the same meaning when you are realizing that after all you're going to lose everything. So Arjuna is questioning why he's doing there, standing about to fight. And for many people, they have the same situations, not in a war, but almost we can say that every human being at one point of their life, they question, what am I doing with my life? Have you experienced that? Like you ask yourself, what am I doing? Why am I investing so much energy in this and that? And especially for those who are starting a spiritual life, one of the things that they question is, why am I engaging all this time to make money, which is not related to my goal of becoming self-realized, of pleasing Krishna, etc. So there is like a dichotomy between a spiritual life and material life. And then the mind becomes Bahu Saka, which is many branch. It's like you have to put energy in one of your goals here, but also you have to take care. I don't have to forget about my spiritual life. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama. And then you pick up the phone and you have to attend other business also. So it's like your life is stressful because you have, on the one hand, you want to protect your spiritual life. On the other hand, you see everything else as material. And then it's like being a spiritual practitioner becomes like a curse. Some people, he said, before I met these people, these devotees, I was a happy person, and now I'm so conflicted. Like I don't even know who am I now. And so Bahusaka means many branches. That idea of having different goals, like like financial goals, and then you have health goals and family goals, so you have also many. It's like for the mind is complex, energy diverted so many ways. So Bhagavad Gita says that materialistic people, their minds are many branches. So then you think, well, so the other alternative is I gave up everything and I have one goal, just pleasing Krishna. I will be chanting all day, or either living in a temple, I don't know. But if you think more deeply, then you realize that that's not what Bhagavad Gita is really teaching, because it's not what happened to Arjuna. So Arjuna, although he presented many arguments to express that being in the battlefield was superfluous, it didn't have any, he wasn't interested in prestige, which Krishna said, if you don't fight, people will laugh at you. I don't care at this point. So eventually Krishna gave a deeper argument regarding fighting, and he said, finally Krishna said, just fight for me. So he gave many arguments, but for Arjuna none of them were like very convincing till Krishna started talking more about surrendering to him as an expression, because he was a friend. So although of course Krishna said about karma yoga, many things, but what really touched Arjuna's heart was the friendship with Krishna, do it for Krishna. But in between there were many philosophies explained in Bhagavad Gita. But the idea of this doing to please Krishna, doing your activities to please Krishna, is something that can reconcile all these other goals, which were otherwise is branched. So let me explain. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur explains in this verse 241 that the only goal for a devotee is to please his spiritual master. That helped Srila Prabhupada to become more convinced on his spiritual life. Srila Prabhupada was 70 years old, and according to modern psychology, he's supposed to be spending time more with family at that time. But what he did, he was 70 years old, and he was writing books, and he started traveling. I think he will choose more like discover, like going to a new country, new culture, new land, new everything, basically. And he was learning a lot at that time. He was learning, observing how people behave, and then trying to develop strategies for preaching. So he was very active during that time. But the teachings of Srila Prabhupada before coming to the US, he was also working as a regular man. He had a pharmacy, and then he worked in a lab and doing using chemistry to make medicines, formulas. But all the time he had only one goal. So his goal was to please Krishna in different ways. So Eka Kurunandana, Eka, or one goal, doesn't mean one activity. So one goal that is underlying all other goals. So the paragraph that we were reading in Bhagavad Gita is explaining that if you water the fruit of the tree, then everything else is being watered. So branches, leaves, twigs. So in the same way, so this is a simple concept, but it's very deep. We can do many activities, but then the underlying theme, purpose of these activities is to please Krishna, to excel in spiritual life. And then everything becomes meaningful, regardless of the type of job that you are doing, as far as your job is not to kill someone or nothing gross. Then it's just a question of how you connect that with Krishna, which shouldn't be difficult, because it's just, if you have sadhana bhakti, or the practices of Krishna consciousness, then regardless the type of job that you're doing, you're just bringing that to the place. And smaranam, remembering Krishna, is an activity that you can do according to your level of realization, but that doesn't. It's easy to remember Krishna when we understand that every living entity is part and parcel of Krishna. Or that talent, Krishna said that I am the talent of man. So even if you are observing someone that is very, very expert in the job, instead of being jealous, you can say, oh, Krishna, that's the talent. And so there are many ways of seeing Krishna. Krishna gave in the chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita so many ways, from the sun to the moon. He said, I'm the light of sun. So every day we see the sun. It's not much difficult to remember Krishna in that way. And then as a representative of Krishna, then when you are doing your job, it's just by being friendly with someone else, you are remembering Krishna, because Krishna is a friend of everyone. So if you just try to be friendly, you are carrying some of the Krishna's energy toward others. And again, Krishna said that the person who show qualities such as compassion and tolerance become very dear to him. So by showing in the world those qualities, then you become dear to Krishna. So it's not a big mystery, really, how to be Krishna conscious in the environment of the job, provided you follow some aspect of sadhana bhakti, or all, but at least one of the 9 processes of Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, hearing about Krishna, repeating what you know about Krishna, or just remembering. You don't have to say to people in the job, of course, like, start like preaching with your words, but no, maybe with your actions. Start like telling everyone, what are you eating? No, I'm eating a hamburger. But yes, but tell me, what is it in the hamburger? Meat. You know what is meat? No? You are eating a corpse. You are killing cows. So if you preach that way, maybe people won't like you. They maybe will. But there are other ways, of course. There's one devotee in New York who brings prasadam, and so people enjoy. But we are not there to judge people. But nobody will be attracted to someone who is like just judging. So, but Krishna is not that judgmental person. He's been tolerating us for millions and millions of lives. So, what to expect from us? But he doesn't want us to be like that. So that's not necessarily a way to be Krishna conscious, but more by showing the characteristics that Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita that are making is in chapter 12 that make one dear to Krishna. And so, just to close, the goal preferences as well as we age in Krishna consciousness, it's just a question of priority, but it's the same goal. It shouldn't change. Your goal for now should be the same when you're older. So among all the instructions in Krishna consciousness, the most important, according to Srila Prabhupada in Chaitanya Charitamrita, is to chant 16 rounds. Among all the instructions, spiritual instructions. And I was talking with Reggie when we were coming here about what can you do when you're dying, or the only things you can do. Even suppose that this is a very worst scenario. Suppose that you die and nothing happened. So there is no Vishnu Duta. So you are there and you find out, oh my God, so what should I do now? So is somebody coming? I've been waiting here. Nobody coming for me. What should I do? Oh, chant. So that's what we are learning. We are learning to chant Hare Krishna. That's the activity that you can transfer even to your dreams. In any, as far as you are conscious, you can chant. You don't need a mouth, a lip to chant. You can chant in the mind. So you can chant in any type of existence. So even if you die and you realize that nobody is waiting for you, you can wait and chant. And what happens when you chant? Krishna is no different from the holy name. So actually you get to the spiritual world. Because if you realize the full meaning of chanting, then you will be with Krishna. You don't have to wait for Krishna. Krishna is there. You just chant. So you die and you chant. And before you die, you chant. And so the goal is one, is keeping that remembrance of Krishna. So then there is no fear. There shouldn't be fear. Of course, if we realize that eventually. I'm not saying that I realize that. I also have my fears. But I have hope that by practicing the chanting, then you can understand that this is the same thing that I will do. It gives you a sense of continuity in your life. Like I remember me chanting Hare Krishna with friends that now are dead. But still I had that sense of like connection because of the chanting. And sometimes I'd be chanting in, can be in Argentina, New York, and Spain. But the activity is the same, and the same different people, different scenarios. But what remains is the chanting. So even though everything will change in life, it's starting from what we see in the mirror, it will change dramatically. Even though something won't change, never. If you stick to spiritual life, it's the chanting of Hare Krishna. So that will be the same, that gives us a sense of continuity, which is what people look, something to hold on. So if there is an earthquake, people try to hold on something, but everything is shaking, so there is no shelter. And so Srila Prabhupada was asked in Mexico. Mexico has had many earthquakes. And so what will you do if what your people will do if there is an earthquake? So Prabhupada said, so the person who was interviewing, they were challenging the Hare Krishna, like, will you chant Hare Krishna? Some Prabhupada said, what do you want me to do? To scream, we will chant Hare Krishna. So this is one of the matchless gifts that Prabhupada gave us, is the chanting Hare Krishna that you can take in any circumstances of life. If you are in the jail, whatever happening, people can steal you everything, even the bead bag, but they cannot steal you the chanting. So that will remain. And yes, so that's the message, is that everything is changing, but the goal is one, is to please Krishna through the chanting. And there will be many activities that we'll have to do because it's part of being here, it's normal. But the underlying motive is always like keeping Krishna, and at the end, as our time shrinks, and we look ahead and we maybe one decade ahead, then there is nothing to fear because you still have the holy name of the chanting. And you won't be alone at that moment because you have the company of the holy name. It won't leave you. Everyone else, even with the best intentions, they will, you won't be able to hold on. Is there any comment? So you are saying that opposed to someone who is discovering Krishna consciousness, someone who was born in Krishna consciousness won't have that. Yeah, so there is nothing new. Okay, I got that part. So what will be the how you can help the children? Yes. Yeah, it doesn't feel relevant. Yeah. But I think that here in this audience there are persons who have more answers in terms, because they have gone through, like they have their children growing through Krishna consciousness, and they have been with them. Their children are still in Krishna consciousness, so they should have, like, if you can, one of the answer will be talk to them. and another, I would say that sense of freshness coming from Krishna, because Krishna is the supreme attractive Nava Yoganam, that he's always fresh. And so from the spiritual perspective, there shouldn't be any problem if the children are experiencing a spiritual life. Now, from the sociological point of view, how the community, how you press, how we introduce those children to Krishna consciousness and keep them engaged as a society, then of course, young people need, especially in the Western society. I don't know if that will apply to previous, but in the modern society, like, being young is related to discovering opportunity. So therefore, so Krishna consciousness that provides a lot of opportunities, especially for traveling. We have the bus pass through in the US. It has been quite engaging for some time. I'm not sure now. I know that before was very successful. I haven't heard much. That's all I say. But there are many ways that they can the creativity, like whatever they are studying, it can be engaged. So Krishna itself brings a whole culture, from paintings to music and to philosophy to art. So when religion is transmitted as a set of rules, it usually desacralizes the religion itself. Spiritual organizations, the function of a spiritual organization is to convey the message of self-realized person. Like for instance, Sukadeva Goswami having realizations, Maharaj Parikshit. So there are placed on the books, and then an organized religion will help to convey the message all over the world. But one of the problems that may happen is how do you convey that, and sometimes not we who are conveying that, we don't have the realization of the people who are describing the books, or like Srila Prabhupada. And so one has to recognize the limitations, but understand that the idea is not to present something that is just rules, but these are key to open spiritual windows. So we are giving tools to people, not just a set of telling that you have to do this. I mean, there are obligations for everyone. That's common sense. Children have to learn obligations, of course. But this is more about relationship, love, etc. So those who Mataji and Mirandra Prabhu, you have your Mukunda Prabhu. Yes, and that was is confirmed even in the scripture. Swapare, every step is fresh. So how they get it. Yeah. Yeah, prasadana. I mean, we are looking for pleasure, so we try to give pleasure. And what I see that, I mean, it's everywhere. Usually it's relationship. Like when you make friendship with someone, when we were to Spain, that was many years ago, with a group of Sankirtan, and we are having a lot of difficulty distributing books because of our approach was first like more like religious, but then we realized that in Spain, because of the history of Catholicism, young people are all atheists. They don't want to do anything with religion, anything. So we changed our dress. We went to a second-hand store and we buy like a nice clothes, and then when we were stopping people, we were saying, "Excuse me, where do you buy that T-shirt?" Some people, then they will start talking, because that's something that they like it, that somebody likes what they were dressing. And we say, yeah, that's nice. And we say, we are also, so what are you doing? Then they will ask us what we are doing. So no, we are distributing books, yoga, philosophy, and we will explain. But that won't be the only thing. Then we will like inquire a little bit more about them and tell them like, would you like to spend one evening with amazing food and music, something new? So we will invite them, and a lot of people start coming because there was a lunch program in the temple. It was a small temple, and every day were coming people from Buddhist tradition, and then we will talk to them just in a friendly way, and they will become attracted. And if you go to South America, Mexico, I go there almost every year, and there are new people coming to Krishna consciousness, and always it's because they have some friends. They make friendship with the one devotee in the street, or because they met them in the school and the work. It's very. There are people who come just because they read the book, also, but for others to stay, those people also they need to make some kind of friendship. And then when that friendship is based on freedom, like I'm inviting you to come, and I'm giving you my friendship, but you don't have to buy that friendship by becoming someone else. Like, so then people can share freely that I'm having problem with my rounds, or I'm still drinking alcohol, and they don't have to be someone else because they know that the devotees like them anyway. I remember myself, I used to still drink alcohol, like I was distributing books and I was distributing the book of vegetarian food. The devotee wanted me to distribute other books, and I was telling them, but still sometimes I drink alcohol. And so the devotees tell me, well, what are you doing? What are you following? I'm chanting the 16 rounds, and I'm a vegetarian. Okay, you distribute the higher taste. So I was distributing higher taste. And then one of my, the person who were acting more like as a counselor, I would tell them, but without any, I even feel guilt at that time. Like I was telling them very naturally, yes, I'm drinking still something, only weekends. And they will say, okay, but are you chanting? Yes, okay. So continue chanting, and they will give me another book or something, but they never told me anything. So it came very naturally. Then one day I was with friends, and I was like, oh, what am I doing here? It's like, it was like completely, what is this? It doesn't make any sense. And then it was very easy to give up. And I say this because alcohol is very common in colleges. But yeah, I felt that the devotees I didn't have to do something to be dear to the devotees. I was dear to them because they were nice. They were friendly. So they were just trying to see the potential that everybody has to be a devotee, instead of trying to like make me feel like guilty because I was doing this or that. So that environment was really inviting and attractive for me and for many other people who were going at that time. It was in 1996, in the centenary of Srila Prabhupada. There were devotees everywhere in the street. Yes. drugs. But I can say that there are more because it won't be like it will be a speculative answer based just on my perception. So there is no. But I can say that the people I met there are friendly, usually, most of the time. Yeah, and they have a lot of trouble with giving up meat eating. So it's such a hard for them that the devotees, if you go to the temple there, the devotees eat fake meat. And they have to make, because it's very root in the. So they make the prasadam like look like, you know, with soy and seitan. There are different ways. So they just try to do these things. But regarding drugs, I mean, in the US there are also drugs. This is a funny story. But one, you know, these people who drug dealers and who are portrayed in Mexico like, you know, like the Chapo and all these things. So there are devotees who are doing book distribution in places where there are drug dealers. So one Mataji, she was distributing books there, and she happened to find a person who had a gun. So she didn't realize that he had a gun. So she was showing the book, and she said, "I'm not interested in this. I'm only interested in guns." And so the Mataji was like, and she said, "Well, these books are like bombs." and then this person say, "Oh, I like that. Give me all the books." He got like $100 and took the book and said, "I like it, bomb." And he was like, somehow the person got the book. Yes. So thank you so much. Thank you.
Two families, Shikha Mehra and family, they are seeking Krishna and devotees' blessings for their son Tanush to keep him always happy and healthy. Are they here, the Shikha Mehra family? No, not really. We will chant in the end. And Abhay Kumar and family, they are seeking Krishna and devotees' blessings for the well-being of their family and friends. I would assume that it is somebody's birthday. Is it? No? Give it to your daddy. Give one prasadam to daddy. Let us all pray for Krishna's mercy, for the spiritual well-being of all these devotees who have sponsored Sunday feast. Please chant after me. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Wanted to wish you all, for next week's sponsorship, please contact Abhay Prabhu. I'll hand over the mic to Shyam in a minute. But before I do that, I just wanted to wish you all a wonderful Krishna conscious New Year, and hope you will all be here for chanting Japa on January 1st. Thank you.
So, a very quick announcement. Like what Mataji said about January 1st, and Prabhu's lecture was very spot on that. So this happens many times. So whenever you have certain occasion, and even though many times our devotee who give the lecture, they won't know, but they will talk about the same topic. So January 1st, we celebrate in this temple in a big way to start chanting. So we are chanting for the well-beings of everyone, and particularly our focus is Illinois. So we are trying to go to Illinois population is 12 million. So we hope that if not this year, next year, we chant 12 million names of the Lord's name for each individual person of the state of Illinois, right? That's a very selfish service. This year our goal is 8 million, and you all have participated every year. So please come. That day, Mataji, no cooking. There is a prasadam survey. People can come by and eat. I think it's Ekadasi too. So we have Ekadasi prasadam being prepared, and although it's part of bake sale. So as much as time you can give it on that day here, please come and help. So no obligation, just be here. People will come, help them, and relax, right? Start and invite others so that they start the first day of the year by chanting the holy name versus anything else. So that's one. The second thing, we have some very good news, but some not good news in terms of our fund collection. So some of you know, and in fact most of you participated in our Giving Tuesday campaign. So we really ran very aggressively, hoping that this is something we'll get a matching one-to-one. And a lot of you worked very hard. The one Pawan Prabhu, he really worked hard. By the way, many of you won't know him, but he always is willing to help any way to whatever he can do to our center. Any service is needed where nobody is there, Pawan is always there. So please give a big hand to Pawan. So he was one of them. He arranged many friends, families, and always gets money. But the disappointing news on that front is that we didn't get matching. So the time was fraction of second, and I don't know how it works, but we got just $50 something matching from Bill Gates Foundation. So as we are waiting to find more, but this was a little bit of setback, but we learned. But again, thank you so much. We are still, with your participation, we still could raise $49,000. That's a big money, big money. So we are now last 1 week of this fundraising for this year. So as the number works around, I may have announced this earlier, the total, and you all are seeing the benefit of the phase 1. So we have some beautiful things being done, and the cost of this is about $1 million, $980,000 something. So with all the fundraising that we are doing, and with the source of income that's coming, it sounds like by end of the year we will stay with loan we will be having with bank with $200,000, right? So our goal is to get this loan paid, because there's no point in paying 5.5% interest rate. So anyway we can do it, any amount that we can bring it, it's all benefiting to ultimately ours, right? Because interest ultimately we are paying. So let's do whatever way possible we can. If we can, please try to. Many of you have pledged, you are giving, so I'm personally obliged. I know it's service for the temple, but again, every single penny you give, I feel you are giving it to me as well. So with that, my humble request to you all is that please find various avenues. For example, a lot of companies gives matching, and right now, like the companies such as Salesforce, Workday, Apple, Prudentials, whatnot, and Amazons, and many companies do match or help match something. So my humble request to you all, without worrying, just talk to HR that we have this, would you please help? Is there any way help? Answer is no, don't worry about that. But Microsoft does it. So many companies does it. We are getting matching from a lot of people. The reason why I'm asking you to do it today, please don't find it on 30th and say something we should do. It will be too late. We can't do it. Every year, 1 or 2 opportunity we miss out. So please try your best. Talk to your friend, family, whoever. In fact, one of the beautiful things I want to announce, Riddhi Mata is not there, but she works for SAP, and she arranged 5 of her friends, and they contributed a little bit, and with that, their friends matching came. So without taking too much of pressure on each one of them, they gave like $700 or $500, but company matched $700. So combined it became $5,000. That's a big money. So please think your own way, your creative way, whatever you can do. Having said that, I know how much you have done. So, and because of your everything, we have this wonderful facility, and which is going to grow and grow further. People are benefiting. Everybody walks in the temple, they feel, oh, great service. I'm sure you are liking it too. You have water, you have quality of water, electricity, everything that you can start with, we have. So with that, again, I want to thank you. We have 1 week time left. Please try. I will also send a follow-up email on this topic. So please help me any way you can. With that, thank you so much. Take the blessing and go for prasadam. Thank you. Hare Krishna.